Live on YouTube. Hutchinson actually has 5 calls. Let me just save some time. Mr. Locke, can you hear me?
Can, Your Honor.
Have you had a chance to go through the indictments with your client?
I have, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Ready? Court will call cause number CR 2193, 94, 95, 96, and 97. State of Texas versus Eliza Hutchinson for purposes of arraignment. What say the parties?
State's ready.
Defendant is ready, Your Honor.
You had an opportunity to go through each of these indictments with your client.
I have, Your Honor.
The personal identifier is true and correct to the best of your knowledge.
They are, Your Honor.
Let me figure out where the feedback's coming from. Okay. Does your client desire to have any of the indictments read in open court?
No, Your Honor.
And he enters the plea of?
Enters the plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Thank you. And that's on all 5, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will enter a scheduling order. Mr. Hutchinson, your next scheduled appearance for the court is October 4th. If you're out on bond, it's at 8:30 in the morning. If you're not, we'll see you in the afternoon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. Court will call cause number CR 19-203 and 204, the state of Texas versus Maximo Valdez Jr. For purposes of pretrial, would say the parties.
State's ready. Did I? Yeah.
Judge, we're here at the courthouse. I don't see Mr. McRae.
I don't believe Mr. McRae is going to be with you based on the communication to the court. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and continue pretrial until September 13th. Okay. If you're out on bond, it'll be at 8:30 in the morning. If you're not, we'll see you in the afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. David, would you like to step into the courtroom real quick?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sorry, Paula. Take your ears off for a second. Mute.
Your Honor,
Yes.
my apologies. Just while we're waiting for the court, this morning, I believe Mr. Duarte and his client, Mr. Zetner, or something with a Z. I can't. Zeinreich, yes. There was an FTA issued in Zeinreich's case. I'm looking at an email, and I'm not sure if I signed it and sent it on. I don't recall, but there was some communication about an agreed order to reset because Mr. Duarte was available and had requested additional time to review a discovery. And I think I just dropped the ball. I must have not seen it, or I can't find anything that shows that I forwarded it on to the court. And so again, that's my fault. And then I was in the back when we were doing the docket in the morning. So I wasn't even aware that it was still on the docket. And so if we could,
Let me just stop you to make the record clear then on CR 20-149, State of Texas versus David Zenrick. The court's going to withdraw the warrant in the NISI.
and again, that's my fault, Your Honor. I apologize, and I apologize to Mr. Duarte and to his client. I don't know why I didn't forward it on, but it looked like I got the email. So
No, Judge, I gotta bear a lot of that responsibility too. I think there's just a failure of communication between staff members, and I should have taken that bull by the horn myself.
Okay.
it won't happen again.
Problem solved. We'll see everybody back in September.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Bye.
Court will call cause number CR 21-109, State of Texas versus Johnny Rania. For purposes of pretrial, let's say the parties.
State's ready.
Defense is ready.
We have any pretrial issues?
None from the state.
None from defense.
We'll set for trial tomorrow.
Are we set for tomorrow or next month?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on the one underneath. I'm sorry. We are not set tomorrow, Mr. Rania. It's just a regular pretrial.
Yes, sir.
What, because they ain't even in court no more. This is over with, though.
All right, your next scheduled appearance is for a 2801 hearing on September 13th. If you're out on bond, it'll be at 8:30 in the morning.
Ain't no bond, dog. Ain't no cops around no more. Appreciate it.
Okay, Roach.
He'll be reset for next month. That was the first one.
Mr. Roach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
How you doing, Rex?
I'm good. Thank you. Court will call cause number CR 2047, 137, and 46, the state of Texas versus Robert Roach. For purposes of pretrial, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense is ready.
We have any pretrial issues we need to address, counsel?
None from the state, Your Honor. We're ready for trial tomorrow morning.
None from defense. And my understanding is we're only going to trial on that one case, right, Ben?
Correct, the harassment case.
We're not ready to go to court.
Which
I
cause?
can't get my lawyer to file any motions. He won't answer his phone. He won't answer my letters. This harassment of a correctional officer against Tim Bedgood. Tim Bedgood, he has injured my wrist 7 times.
You're gonna have to advise us on that.
No, let me talk. Let me talk. I already fired you anyway, David, parent, judge.
Mr. Roach, hang on. You can say your 2 cents, but let me just make it clear that Mr. Parent's still your attorney and we're set to go to trial tomorrow.
We're not going tomorrow. I'm not ready to go to trial. I need to subpoena some witnesses. I need
We're
to
gonna
subpoena.
see it. We're gonna
players.
see it at 8 a.m. in the morning. So now
No, we're not going to court in the morning. I'm not ready to go to trial. I need to subpoena 2 officers here who have taken pictures of the injuries inflicted on me by Tim Bedgood. Bedgood has injured my wrist 7 times. He, with handcuffs, photos taken. He bruised my face, photos taken. He has been beating up on me since I've been in this jail. And I allegedly spit on him. Photos are in the computer right here. Officers Wallace and Hernandez took the photos. They're here in this jail right now. Here's one. Here is Hernandez right here. They took the photos of the red marks on my wrist, Judge. We're not ready to go to trial. I want to subpoena this guy right here. He's right here. He took photos of the red marks on my wrist inflicted by Tim Bedgood from the handcuffs. He's done it to me 7 times. He's standing right here. Miss Wallace took photos of the red marks also, and the bruises on my face inflicted by Tim Bedgood. I need to subpoena him, and I need to subpoena Miss Wallace. I can't get this. David Parent won't do anything for me. He won't file motions, answer his phone. He won't answer my letters. Won't speak to any officers or witnesses. There's a man, Hernandez. He's right here. Can you see him?
Your Honor,
He's right here. We're not ready to go to court. Y'all ain't railroading me, man. Y'all ain't gonna goddamn railroad me, man. It ain't bullshit. That in June, he offered me 10 years. Now he's talking 20 and 35 years. And they want to out of the blue tell me I want to go to court in the morning. I ain't ready to go to court.
mute the microphone.
we'll be ready to go on CR 2137. That's the harassment of a public Yes. It says harassment of a public servant, but it's harassment of a person in a correctional facility.
Okay. And Mr. Parent, you do, even though I haven't been back to Kerrville, you do have co-counsel.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
He's been notified.
All right. We'll see everybody at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yes, sir, we'll be there.
Thank you. Forget it. You told me. Yes, David. Oh, yeah. You got it all figured out.
Dave, you look like you're shadowed in the attorney protection program.
You know, I kind of wish I was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It'll be another chapter in your book.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's just what I needed.
From very first hearing. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Court will call cause number CR 2170, 71, 72, 73, 132, and 133 and 134. The state of Texas versus Brandy Thornton for purposes of arraignment on the 132, 133, and 34. What say the parties?
State's ready.
Mr. Parent, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that, Judge. Not ready on arraignment today. I'm going to go out tomorrow and review the indictments. I'll be filing waivers.
All right, let's move on to the other cases for pretrial then. For purposes of pretrial, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense is ready.
Do we have any pretrial issues on any of those cases?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Not at this time for defense, just a request that we put everything on the same scheduling order if possible.
I do show that we have labs back on, well, CR 21070.
Are those up on my portal, Stephen?
I don't have that in front of me right now, Dave. Sorry, but I assume if we got it in, we would have sent it, but that's not always the case.
I'll check. If it's not there, I'll let you know in the morning.
Okay, sounds great.
Let's do this. In anticipation of the waivers of arraignment, there'll be scheduling orders entered. And the next scheduled appearance in those three cases will be October 4th. So the court's going to set all four of these for October 4th to go along with the other three. And if you need to get into court sooner, we can certainly add you to the docket.
Okay, we're going to try to get in earlier. Some of these cases are really old. I know we have the new ones, but I think we might be able to work a resolution to all of them pretty quick.
It's easy enough to get you in sooner if you'd like.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you,
Randy,
Mr.
I'll come see you tomorrow.
Oh, okay, thank you. So the new ones have been arranged or no?
No, they have not. He's going to file waivers after he goes to see her tomorrow. Thank you. Mr. Welch, while we're waiting for them to bring out Kevin Shannon on Cody Wisecarver, have you had an opportunity to go over the new indictment with your client?
Not on that new indictment, Your Honor. That's my fault. That
No, don't
totally
worry
missed
about
me.
That's easy enough to address. Will you do me a favor and make a docket entry on CR 21-172 that we're going to reset?
Totally missed that one. We'll get a waiver signed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Next month.
And then if he files the waiver, we'll make all the scheduling orders match. Good afternoon, Mr. Shannon.
Greetings.
Court will call cause number CR 19-246, the state of Texas versus Kevin Shannon. For purposes of pretrial, what say the parties?
State's ready.
It's ready, Your Honor.
Do we have any pretrial issues?
None from the state.
None from the defense.
Do we have any labs?
I'm checking on that right now, but I believe we do.
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right, if we do, then our next scheduled appearance for the court is September 13th for a 2801 hearing. So we will
Thank you,
see you
Your Honor.
back next month, Mr. Shannon. Thank you.
All right, thank you kindly.
You have a plan? While they're getting ready to bring Mr. Meehan out, Mr. Welch, did you intend to check he's pleading guilty on paragraph 1, or right now it's all blank?
I can't see it, but yeah, it's a plea of guilty.
I can get it up maybe there.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. And it's
Yeah.
yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, Mr. Meehan.
Good afternoon.
Court will call cause number CR 20-199, the state of Texas versus William Meehan. For purposes of an agreed plea, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense ready.
Okay, before we start, the court has before it a joint request for plea or sentencing by video conference. Mr. Meehan, do you have any objection to proceeding by video conference today?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
Thank you. First document we need to go through, counsel, is the 3914 Discovery, Disclosure, and Compliance Form, which purports to have each of your signatures. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct, Your Honor.
To the best of your knowledge, has the state received all discovery from law enforcement and forwarded the same to the defense?
Yes, sir.
To the best of your knowledge, have you received all discovery?
I believe so.
Mr. Meehan, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Plea of Guilty, Waivers, and Admonishments. Did you have a chance to go through this document with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right to a trial by jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you have a right for your attorney to cross-examine the state's witnesses and to call your own witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand you have a right to appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you're waiving all three of those rights today?
I do, Your Honor.
In addition to that, do you understand that you have a right to remain silent? Nobody can require you to testify against yourself, but you can in fact waive that right.
Yes.
Page 3 of this document purports to have your signature in 2 different locations. Is that your signature in both spots?
Yes.
Your second signature appears below a paragraph entitled Judicial Confessions and Stipulations. Do you understand that by signing that paragraph, it's just like you stood up here before the court, raised your arm and said, I did what the state's accused me of doing?
Yes.
Attached to the back of this document is a copy of the grand jury indictment. Did you have a chance to go through that document with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand that indictment?
Yes.
And are you asking the court to accept that indictment, including the enhancements, as true and correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you feel like your client understands his rights, waivers, and admonishments?
I do.
Next document we need to go through is the agreed stipulation of evidence and waiver of testing. Reports to have your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes.
And do you understand that by signing this document, you're stipulating that the evidence is what the state says it is, and you're waiving your right to have it tested?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you feel like your client understands the stipulation and waiver?
I believe so.
Mr. Meehan, you've been charged with possession of a controlled substance, to wit heroin, less than 1 gram. This is a state jail felony enhanced to a second-degree felony with a range of punishment of 2 to 20 years incarceration and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand this charge and this range of punishment?
Yes.
And how do you plead?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes.
And are you a citizen of the United States?
I am.
Do you feel like your client's competent and capable of assisting you in preparation for trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, 4 years TDC.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Welch?
That is, Your Honor.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Meehan?
Yes.
And do you understand that a plea agreement is an agreement between you and the state? It's not binding on the court, but if the court did not accept the plea agreement, you would have the opportunity to withdraw your plea of guilty, enter a plea of not guilty, and proceed to trial.
Yes.
And are you asking the court to follow the plea agreement?
Yes.
Court will find evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to enter a finding of guilt and enter in a finding of true to the enhancements. Pursuant to your plea agreement, will order you confined in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a period of 4 years. You have court costs in the amount of $290, reimbursement fees in the amount of $540, time credit in the amount of 97 days. Do you have any questions on the judgment?
No.
Once you get released, can you work out a payment plan to pay off your cost?
Yes.
Hey, do you have any questions at all?
No.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you, Mr. Meehan. Thank you.
Got it? Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mr. Patterson.
How are you?
Court will call cause number CR 21-7, the state of Texas versus Pete Patterson, for purposes of a 2801 hearing. What say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense ready, Your Honor.
Do we have any announcements or motions?
None from the state.
None from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, it looks like our next scheduled appearance for the court is September 13th. So we will see you back then, Mr. Patterson.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Patterson, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Patterson, I'll be coming to see you in the next few days.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, because we still have the one case. On Wise Carver, based on our previous discussion, I'm only going to call the one case for pretrial.
Perfect.
Are you on mute?
Good afternoon. Court will call cause number CR 21-38, State of Texas versus Cody Wise Carver. For purposes of pretrial, let's say the parties.
State's ready.
Defense ready, Your Honor.
Do we have any pretrial issues?
None from the state.
Nothing for the defense, Your Honor. We're actually waiting on a comp eval at the moment.
Has anybody heard back from Dr. Wood?
We did. I have gotten in contact with him, so he's aware, and we expect him to be doing it very soon.
Let's put it on the September 13th docket.
Okay.
And see if we have our evaluation back by then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Wise Carver, we'll see you back next month. Thank you. Mr. Black, you're in the hot seat.
Sorry, Judge.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. Good afternoon. Court will call cause number CR 19-214, State of Texas versus Dennis Giddings. For purposes of pretrial, let's say the parties.
State's ready.
Defense is ready.
Do we have any pretrial issues, counsel?
None from the state.
None from the defense, Judge, except that, as you may recall, we were recently substituted as counsel when Mr. Giddings' counsel passed. And he's been incarcerated now for a couple of years. So we haven't exhausted our efforts yet with a plea, but if we're not successful here in the next couple of months, we'd like a trial setting, Judge.
You want a trial setting now, or do you want to wait until September 13th?
All right, we'll go to September 13th. That'll be fine.
Okay. We'll give you a pretrial on September 13th, Mr. Giddings. And then on that date, we're going to give you a trial date so you can have an end date for all this, okay?
Certainly do appreciate that.
You bet. We'll see you back next month. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Thank you.
She was.
Yeah, it's scribbled on here somewhere.
Go ask her.
Hey, do me a favor, Monica. Hi, Mr. Hodgson.
Hello, sir.
Court will call cause number CR 20-110, 111, 112, 131, and 132, the state of Texas versus John Hodgson. For purposes of pretrial, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense is ready.
Do we have any pretrial issues, counsel?
None from the state.
None from the defense at this time.
You want one more pretrial before we jump on the trial docket, or would you like a trial date?
One more pretrial, please.
All right, we're going to set you one more pretrial on September 13th, and then on that date, we'll pick a trial date.
Thank
See
you.
you back next month. Thank you.
Mr. Black,
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know that I went ahead and got a hold of my family. He should be emailing you some papers.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Let's try this again with my microphone on. You doing okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. Court will call cause number CR 2152, 53, and 54, the state of Texas versus Scott Schindler. For purposes of pretrial, let's say the parties.
State's ready.
Defense is ready.
Do we have any pretrial issues, counsel?
None from the state.
None from the defense at this time, Judge.
All right, it looks like our next scheduled pretrial is on September 13th. And at that point, we'll choose whether we're going to go down the trial route or an agreement route. We'll see you back on September 13th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And don't you forget.
Judge, on this next case, James Fanning, I had filed a motion for a competency evaluation.
Assume we're still waiting on the results.
I haven't seen the order yet, Judge, the signed order.
Looks like the order was filed on July 26th.
Oh,
So,
that sounds right.
now, if you haven't seen the order, that's a problem because I suspect the order has not made it to Dr. Woods yet then.
Or I'll submit another order.
Well, I have an order. It's signed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But generally speaking, the defense attorney will kick it to the whoever's evaluating. So you might follow up on that tomorrow, David, and see if the jail or anybody else kicked it to Dr. Woods.
I will.
Good afternoon, Mr. Fanning. Court will call cause number CR 1716 and 1717, the state of Texas versus James Fanning. It's my understanding we're still waiting on the evaluation from Dr. Woods. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, let's set it on the September 13th docket just to get a status update and see where we are on receiving the report.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you back then, Mr. Fanning. Thank you.
Okay. They're gonna come back sometime? Yes, sir. They're gonna see you again in September. September what? September 13th.
Did they? You're next. So done.
Mr. Saldana, how's the big city of Hondo?
Oh, it's great, Judge. Come and visit us sometime.
I will. Have y'all moved in your new offices yet?
Judge, we are in our new office, but we are not in the new courthouse yet.
Okay.
So, we're eagerly anticipating its opening, hopefully sometime around Labor Day.
Nice. Good afternoon, ma'am. Court will call cause number CR 2185 and 21105, the state of Texas versus Crystal Anderson. For purposes of pretrial, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Judge, I'm ready with a caveat, and I don't know how to best handle this. If we could, the four of us go into a breakout room or something, but there's some issues that I'd like to see how we can handle. I don't know how best to handle it, or if you just want me to break out with my client and possibly confront.
It's hard for me to say without having some idea of what you're looking at.
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Anderson's fate somewhat rests on the fate of another. And so we are trying to see how to best handle that. There's some issues, I guess, that need to be tied up. And I guess I'm trying to, but I don't know, it would be best to just break out with Stephen and Ben. Or what would be best at this time? Stephen, you got any thoughts?
Well, I would just say it may be that we can't get anything accomplished today, so why not go ahead and just reset it to September 13th? And then if we get something accomplished, we can bring her back in on the docket.
I'm still holding out hope that something can be done. I think Ms. Anderson was kind of the same mindset. And so if you want to take us towards the back of the line, Judge, I understand.
Well, then I would just suggest you talk to Ben.
Okay.
And Judge, to that end, if putting him to the back of the docket is fine with me, if there's some type of resolution reached at the end of the docket.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reset it to September 13th. And then if you reach a resolution, we'll just bounce you back onto the docket.
Okay. Sounds good, Judge.
Okay.
Very good.
That way we can go either or depending on what happens.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Perfect. Thank you.
Just give us a call, Humberto.
Do you want me to hang on to it or do you want to hang on to it? Okay.
You gonna call me?
No, I'm not sure.
Because they're gonna put us in the back of the docket.
Gibbs will be next.
Yes, Your Honor.
No, but I can be. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Court will call cause number CR 21-144, the state of Texas versus Bradley Gibbs. For purposes of pretrial, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense is ready, Your Honor. We have no pretrial matters for the court at this time. However, we're still doing our investigation on our end. So if we could get at least one more pretrial setting, Judge.
Sounds fine with me.
All right, let's set a regular pretrial on September 13th, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You bet. Thank y'all. Anthony, you're up next with Ms. Hill. Was Anthony still out there when you went out there? Mr. Black's going to cover. We're good. Hey, David. On Miss Hill's 153 case, are you aware of whether or not Anthony or you, whoever it is, had an opportunity to go through the indictment with her for arraignment?
On number 153,
Correct.
I did not, Your Honor. Here's Anthony right now, so.
Okay.
Let me see.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hill.
Hello.
Court will call cause number CR 2132, 33, and 153, the state of Texas versus Kimberly Hill. On 153, for purposes of arraignment, what say the parties?
State's ready.
Defense is ready, Your Honor. You said for purposes of arraignment?
On 153, that's what I'm showing.
Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't show on mine. I guess on the docket that I got.
Have you had an opportunity to go through the indictment with him?
Not that indictment, no, sir.
Okay, then let me set a reset on that one.
Okay, and we'll go over that and get a waiver.
On 21, 33, and 32, do we have any pretrial issues to address, counsel?
None from the state.
None from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, it looks like our next scheduled appearance for the court is September 13th. So we'll see everybody back for a pretrial then. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hill, I'll be coming over to see you today.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Smith. Thank you. First,
It's a motion to proceed. You want me to check what it is?
no. Mhm. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon.
Court will call cause number CR 18-163, the state of Texas versus Joshua Smith. For purposes of an agreed plea, what say the parties?
State's ready. David, you're muted.
Sorry, Judge. Defense is ready.
Thank you. First document we need to go through, or that I have before the court, is a joint request for plea or sentencing by video conference. Appears to be signed by all the attorneys as well as Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, do you have any objection to proceeding today by teleconference?
No, sir.
I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Plea of True to State's Motion to Proceed. Did you have a chance to go through that document with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that document?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right to have a contested hearing before the court today?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have the right for your attorney to cross-examine the state's witnesses and to call your own witnesses?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand you have a right to appeal?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand you're waiving those rights with an agreed plea today?
Yes, sir.
In addition to that, do you understand that you have a right to remain silent? Nobody can require you to testify against yourself, but you can in fact waive that right.
Yes, sir.
The top of page 2, it purports to have your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir, it is.
You understand that by signing the top of page 2 with the stipulation of evidence paragraph at the bottom of page 1, it's just like you stood up before the court, raised your hand and said, I did what the state's accused me of doing.
Yes, sir.
You feel like your client understands his rights, waivers, and admonishments?
Yes, sir, I do.
Smith, I'm showing you a 2-page document. It's been marked as State's Exhibit A. And on the second page, it purports to have your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Did you have a chance to look at that document with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that document?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand each individual allegation?
Yes.
And are you pleading true or not true?
True.
Are you pleading true freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading true because they are true and for no other reason?
Yes, sir.
Is there a plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honors, 4 years confinement and TDC JID.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Black?
Yes, sir.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
And are you asking the court to follow that plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Court will find evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to enter a finding of true the state's motion to proceed. Pursuant to your plea agreement, will adjudicate you on the underlying offense of possession of a controlled substance, to wit methamphetamine from 1 to 4 grams. Will order you confined in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for a period of 4 years. You have fines totaling $2,350, court costs totaling $403, reimbursement fees in the amount of $1,220, and it looks like you have 314 days credit. Do you have any questions on the judgment?
No, sir.
Once you get released, can you work out a payment plan to pay off your cost?
Yes.
Do you have any questions at all?
No, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
How are you? Doing well, thank you.
Judge, do you mind if David and I just kind of talk back and forth real quick on this next case while we're waiting?
Oh, go for it.
Okay. David, I think it is an attempted sexual assault. I think the issue is that if it was one of those judgments where he consented to the jurisdiction of some means because he was a juvenile. So either way, I think you need to get the judgment needs to be obtained to figure that out.
Well, thanks, Stephen. I agree. I think we do.
So Judge, to that end, I think there's a question that has arisen in the plea today where it's going to need to be reset. David has a question as to the underlying judgment that put him on sexual offender conditions as to whether or not that would dictate what the actual range of punishment is that we're dealing with in these potential pleas.
You want to do it on September 8th or September 13th, or do we need to go out farther than that?
Oh, no, I don't think we need to go any farther than that, Judge. I need to obtain a copy of a judgment from San Saba County. I don't know how long that might take, but hopefully not very long. So
I would propose the September 8th, in that it just may be a quicker and
that's fine. No objection at all to that, Judge.
Okay. Let's set Mr. Adams for September 8th. And do you want me to pull the paperwork out of the file or leave it in one of the files?
I leave it, Judge. I mean, if we can use it on the 8th, it may be good. We haven't made that decision yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And if
we need to between now and then, Judge, we could just fill out a new judgment page that has the dates changed that we could just put on top of it.
Perfect.
Okay. Let me make a note here. Okay, Mr. Adams, your case is going to be reset for September 8th. There's a legal issue that your attorney would like to resolve before we proceed any further.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll see you back in the morning of September 8th. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That'll be an 8:30 plea, Judge?
8:30.
Yes,
Mr. Black,
Yes.
whenever you have a chance, whenever you come back and see me or whatever, if you have time today, if you talk to me.
All right.
All right.
Stephen, do we have anybody else left on the docket?
Not that I see, Judge.
Judge, we have Lucina, and then Mr. Welch is doing Robert Duncan right now.
Also, Your Honor, I had a phone call from Carla Maynard's mom that said she was in custody in Blanco County. I've requested that Louis verify that for me. But we have an eyesight on there. If she is in custody, may that be recalled?
Please.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Judge, the Mr. Lucina's name was mentioned, which kind of has to do with Crystal Anderson. So that's where that popped up.
That's correct. And if I could, I just had a conversation with Mr. Lucina. He might be going a different direction based on some attorneys he's been talking to. So I guess that kind of puts me in a holding pattern with relation to Crystal Anderson as well.
So we've already reset it, so we're good to go.
We're good to go.
Okay. Thank you. That means we're not doing anything on Lucina either, correct?
Well, apparently, according to what I just heard from the jail.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you. I appreciate it. So we're just waiting on Mr. Welch?
Yes.
And I'll check on that, Judge. I guess that maybe been speaking on Mr. Duncan and have worked out a deal, but I'll get a better line on if that's really going to be accomplished today or not.
Okay, but we don't have anybody else in custody, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Thank you very much for your help in the jail. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not sure the computer in the law library is still on.
Yeah, I guess maybe if Mr. Duncan is there at the courthouse, we could do his plea, but I'll check that out.
He is here.
Okay. I'm gonna step out for a minute.
Right.
Got health benefits for you that you wouldn't understand. Google it.
As soon as I can. Thanks.
There.
Oh, there we go.
I got them on the law library.
Do they have? Oh, here we go. We're electronic. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Go run that into Anthony. Tell him he's got to start filling that out. You're getting your steps in. It's good for you.
You gotta fill this part in myself.
Good. Court will call cause number CR 1744, the state of Texas versus Robert Duncan for purposes of an agreed plea. What say the parties?
State's ready.
Is ready, Your Honor.
First document we need to go through is a joint request for plea or sentencing by video conference. It appears to have each of counsel's signature as well as Mr. Duncan's. Thank you. Mr. Duncan, do you have any objection to proceeding by video conference today?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next document we need to go through is the 3914 Discovery Disclosure and Compliance Form, which purports to have each of your signatures. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct, Your Honor.
To the best of your knowledge, has the state received all discovery from law enforcement and forwarded the same to the defense?
Yes, sir.
To the best of your knowledge, have you received all discovery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Duncan, I'm showing you a document. Hang on real quick. Mr. Welch, can you come in here, please, real quick?
Be right there.
There we go. Mr. Duncan, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Plea of Guilty, Waivers, and Admonishments. Did you have a chance to go through that document with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that document?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have a right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you have a right for your attorney to cross-examine the state's witnesses and to call your own witnesses?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that you have a right to appeal?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that you're waiving all three of those rights today?
I do, Your Honor.
In addition to that, do you understand that you have a right to remain silent? Nobody can require you to testify against yourself, but you can in fact waive that right.
Yes, sir.
Page 3 of this document purports to have your signature in 2 different locations. Is that your signature in both spots?
It is, Your Honor.
Your second signature appears below a paragraph entitled Judicial Confessions and Stipulations. Do you understand that by signing that paragraph, it's just like you stood up here before the court, raised your hand and said, I did what the state's accused me of doing?
Yes, sir.
Attached to the back of the document is a copy of the grand jury indictment. Did you have a chance to go through that indictment with your attorney?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand that indictment?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking the court to accept that indictment as true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like your client understands his rights, waivers, and admonishments?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Duncan, you've been charged with possession of a controlled substance, to wit methamphetamine less than 1 gram. This is a state jail felony, which pursuant to section 1244A is being sentenced as a Class A misdemeanor with a range of punishment of up to a year in the county jail and a $4,000 fine. Do you understand that charge and that range of punishment?
I do, Your Honor.
And how do you plead?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
I am, sir.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty and for no other reason?
Yes, sir.
And are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, I am.
Do you feel like your client's competent and capable of assisting you in preparation for trial?
I believe so.
Is there a plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. Pursuant to section 1244A, credit for time served.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Welch?
That is, Your Honor.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that a plea agreement's an agreement between you and the state? It's not binding on the court, but if the court did not accept your plea agreement, you would have the opportunity to withdraw your plea of guilty, enter a plea of not guilty, and proceed to trial.
I understand, Your Honor.
And are you asking the court to follow the plea agreement?
Yes, sir.
Court will find evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to enter a finding of guilt. Pursuant to your plea agreement under section 1244A, will order you confined in the county jail for a period of 20 days. We'll give you 20 days credit. You have court costs in the amount of $270 and reimbursement fees in the amount of $485. Do you have any questions on the judgment?
No, Your Honor.
Can you work out a payment plan to pay off your cost?
I'll have to. Yes, sir.
Any questions at all?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Duncan.
And Judge, before he goes, also the cause number CR 21-076, I think was also, he was told to be back in the morning on that. And that case is a 21 case and we don't have the labs back on that yet. So we would just ask that that case be reset to the October date and just see if we've got labs back by then.
Any objection, Mr. Welch?
No objection, Your Honor. I was going to ask the same.
All right, let's reset that case to October 4th at 8:30 for a pretrial. We'll see you back then, Mr. Duncan. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Harpo.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that should be a